I would like to express my profound appreciation to John Gross and the Cornerstone Singers and Band for making this beautiful musical presentation. Would you let them know? We're honored and pleased to recognize tonight distinguished members of the Israeli Knesset who are in attendance, Rabbi Benny Elon and Yuri Stern, chairman of the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus. Would you please welcome them to this event tonight? We gather tonight in the sacred city of Jerusalem as Christians and Jews to express our solidarity with the state of Israel and the Jewish people around the world. We gather to fulfill the command of King David, who said, to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. Jerusalem is like no other city in all of the world because Jerusalem is the city of God. Jerusalem stands at the center of world history as a monument to the nations of the world that the God of Israel is alive and well. As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so the Lord is round about his people forever, something obviously the president of Iran has forgotten. Jerusalem is where King David conquered the Jebusites 3,000 years ago and made Jerusalem the eternal and undivided capital of Israel. Jerusalem is where Isaiah and Jeremiah wrote spiritual principles that became the moral compass for Western civilization. Jerusalem is the center of the universe, for all directions in the Bible are given in reference to Jerusalem. Jerusalem is where God has chosen to place his name. David writes, the Lord has chosen Zion. He has desired it for his habitation. No other city on the earth can make that claim. 2 Chronicles 6 says, I, God, have chosen Jerusalem that my name might be there forever, and my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. King David records, if I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember you, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I do not exalt Jerusalem above my chief joy. David was a musician whose right hand played the harp. He was saying, if I forget Jerusalem, may my right hand forget its musical skill to play. He was the songbird of Israel. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. Let me not be able to sing a word. The point is, if a musician cannot play, if a musician cannot sing, life has no meaning. Without Jerusalem, life has no meaning. Jerusalem is the heart and the soul of Israel. I call upon the United States Department to move the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. It is time to officially recognize Jerusalem as the eternal and undivided capital of the state of Israel. It has been for 3,000 years. It's time for the U.S. State Department to get the word. There are voices calling for a portion of Jerusalem to be given to the Palestinians as their capital for a Palestinian state. Let's make it clear to one and all tonight, Jerusalem shall never be divided again. Jerusalem is not up for negotiation with anyone for any reason at any point in time. Jerusalem should not be the sacrificial lamb offered on the altar of political convenience for the benefit of the roadmap to peace. Not ever. May I tell you how I became a lover of Israel? I came to Israel the first time in 1978, and as I walked the cobblestone streets of this sacred city, I felt a very special presence here. I knew that my spiritual roots were here. I knew that Jerusalem was my spiritual home. As I prayed at the Western Wall, I was moved to tears by the presence of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I came to Jerusalem in 1978 as a tourist, and I returned home a Zionist. In 1981, when the IDF blew up Iraq's nuclear reactor, the American press was extremely hostile to Israel, calling it gunboat diplomacy. I felt that Menachem Begin and the Israeli IDF had done the world a marvelous favor. I called upon the citizens and churches of San Antonio to gather as Christians and Jews for a night to honor Israel. I intended to do it one time and just to go on record publicly for saying how much I appreciated what Israel had done for the world. We had a press conference. Within an hour after the newspapers hitting the street, my office started getting death threats about my participation in that event. The windows of my car were shot out while parked in the driveway of my home. The first night to honor Israel was standing room only. The auditorium was charged with electricity for a lot of reasons. But as we began that program, heaven came down and kissed the earth. There was a bomb threat on the building. And as Rabbi Scheinberg was giving the benediction, the security came to me and said, "This building is supposed to blow up in 5 minutes." I had a private prayer myself. I said, "Dear God, don't let this rabbi pray like Moses right now. Let him pray like a Presbyterian late for lunch." God answered my prayer. I walked to the podium and said, "I hate to end this night on a negative note, but there's a threat on the building." And the Christians vaporized. That was a novel experience for them. And I met the Jewish flip of the hand. They just kept right on talking. I then determined to do a night to honor Israel each year. Now each year we present a night to honor Israel over national television that goes into 90 million homes in America. It is sent by satellite to 102 nations around the world. We fulfill the words of the prophet Isaiah, "For Zion's sake, I will not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake, I will not rest. I have set watchmen on your walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night, until the Lord makes Jerusalem the praise of all the earth." This is my 21st trip to Israel. In the past 25 years, we have given millions of dollars to bring more than 10,000 Jews to Israel from around the world to discover their Jewish roots. Our message for 25 years has been, "Israel, you are not alone. You are still and always shall be the apple of God's eye. While you are surrounded by terrorists who seek your destruction, we remember the words of King David that said, 'He that keepeth Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps.' Let us remember God's encouragement to Joshua and Israel in their day of battle. He said, 'Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you.'" People of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is still with you. His eye is upon you. His love surrounds you. His light is guiding you. His mighty right arm defends you. His angels have encamped themselves about you as the mountains are round about Israel. Victory will come over these fanatical Islamic terrorists. Peace will come. Joy will come. Singing and laughter will replace this long night of heartache. This darkness will pass, and the light of hope will shine again over Eretz Israel. To our Jewish friends everywhere, there are 70 million evangelical Christians in America who are Zionist. We consider ourselves one with Israel. We are united. We are indivisible. When the last battle is fought, when the last bullet has been fired, the victory over terrorism will be ours, and the golden age of peace will come. Messiah will walk the sacred streets of this holy city. Men will beat their swords into plowshares and study war no more. That day will come. Shout hallelujah. Let me give you Bible reasons why we support Israel. First of all, Israel is the only nation on the face of the earth created by a sovereign act of God. God created this nation. God defends this nation. God considers this nation his inheritance, and he has given it to the Jewish people as an eternal covenant. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. David said, the earth is the Lord's. He owns it. Therefore, God, the owner of heaven and earth, gave the land of Israel to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and their descendants by a blood covenant that is an eternal covenant. It is an unbreakable covenant, and it is recorded in the Bible for all to read. That covenant cannot be altered by any nation or any groups of nations. Not the United Nations, not the European Union, not Russia, not even the United States, not even the President of the United States. No one can alter that covenant. It stands forever. The Jewish people have a Bible mandate to possess and build in the land of Israel, which includes Judea and Samaria. There is no West Bank. There is only Judea and Samaria. Evangelical Christians will vigorously resist any roadmap to peace that calls for Israel to give up any part of Judea and Samaria or any part of Jerusalem. The prophet Joel says in chapter 3, verse 2, I, God, will gather all nations and enter into judgment against them on account of my people Israel. Why? Because they have divided up my land. Because they, the nations of the world, have divided up my land. There are some pseudo-intellectual historians claiming that the Palestinians at one time owned the land of Israel. It's an utter fabrication. It's total nonsense. The fact of history is that Israel was never the land of the Palestinian people. Palestine has never existed as an autonomous society. The Romans under Hadrian, trying to erase the memory of the Jews from the face of the earth, renamed the land of Israel, and they called it Palestine after the historic enemies of Israel, the Philistines. They also renamed the city of Jerusalem.